The inevitable finally happened. De'Aaron Fox is a San Antonio Spur, and this Spurs team has not only become a dynasty in the making, but they are looking like championship contenders from here on out. And not only did the trade occur, but the Spurs absolutely fleeced everyone in this deal. Zach LaVine goes to the Kings, the Bulls get a couple players, the Kings get a couple meaningless picks. This is a huge win for the San Antonio Spurs. We're going to break it all down. But getting De'Aaron Fox, an all-NBA caliber point guard, to go with Victor Wembenyama only helps his development from here on out. They had a temporary solution to their point guard issues with Chris Paul. Now they have a long-term solution. I imagine De'Aaron Fox will sign his extension before long, as the Spurs were at the top of his short list, and this is just a fantastic move for Spurs Nation. De'Aaron Fox is really that guy, and Victor Wembanyama now gets an all-NBA caliber point guard to come in and play alongside him for probably the next 10 years. He averages 25.2 points a game, 5 boards, 6.2 assists, plays with elite pace. He has really learned that over the past couple of years, how to play with better pace. Shoots 47% from the field, 32% from 3. Now his three-point percentage is down from last year, which is not a good sign if you're the Spurs or a Fox fan, because he shot 37% from the 3 last year on 7.3 attempts in 37 minutes a game. But his calling card has always been that he is a slasher, and he is one of the premier slashers in the NBA, one of the quickest guys in the league. When you need somebody to get downhill to split a screen, it's De'Aaron Fox. At 27 years old, he's about to enter the prime of his career, and he really is a pick-and-roll specialist. He's got pretty much every move in the bag when it comes to getting downhill. Him and Domantas Sabonis was a special pairing, and now just think of the duo that De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama is going to be. Really nice move right here. As you can see, they're running a little bit of a Spanish pick and roll action, so he's going to end up one-on-one with Dante DiVincenzo. It just puts a really nice Euro step on him to get to that left hand and finish above the rim. Now, once again, coming off of this Sabonis screen, he is going to attack Rudy Gobert coming downhill and keep Jaden McDaniels on his hip long enough to get this floater up in the air and to get it to go down. And that is the kind of skill set he brings to this Spurs team. So defenses now have to worry about not only Victor Wembanyama, but one of the quickest guys in the league in De'Aaron Fox. And as you can see, even when Jaden McDaniels is in front of him, he's crafty enough and quick enough to get by and get right to the rim with that left hand. Now, paired up with Wembanyama, it's going to be a scary sight, because with this Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama pick and roll action, teams like to switch it. Well, you can't switch De'Aaron Fox onto your post, because he's going to absolutely cook them. Now, he is a free agent in 2 summers, but I have confidence that the Spurs will be able to re-sign him. Like I said, the Spurs were one of the teams on that list that Fox wanted to go to. So here's the full details of the trade between the Spurs, Kings, and Bulls. De'Aaron Fox is, of course, a Spur, as well as perennial NBA All-Star Jordan McLaughlin. Zach LaVine, Sidi Sissoko, and 3 first-round picks are going to Sacramento, as well as 3 second-round picks. However, we will touch more on this later. And then Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and the Bulls get their own first-round pick back, as well as those 3 players, which is huge for the Bulls to get their own first-round pick back, because obviously they're stuck in mediocrity. They need their first round picks. The Kings get that 2025 Charlotte pick, which is essentially 2 second round picks, because this is the final year that if it doesn't convey, it's lottery protected. If it doesn't convey, it turns into 2 second round picks. The Hornets have been mid for so long. They traded this pick back in 2021, and they've been a lottery team every year since that trade. They also get San Antonio's 2027 first-round pick, which is probably not going to be very valuable. The only real first-round pick they get out of this trade that could be something of value is that 2031 Minnesota first-round pick, and that's only because, well, it's 6.5 years from now. Nobody knows what in the world the NBA is going to be like. We could be playing on Mars by then, and there's just a whole lot of uncertainty there. So that's the only valuable pick back that the Kings get. The Spurs were able to bring in De'Aaron Fox. The biggest name that they traded was Trey Jones. They get off of Zach Collins' contract as well. They do give up that Bulls first-round pick, which was pretty valuable. That's the most valuable pick here. But other than that, they keep all the Hawks picks. That's the big thing to keep in mind. And they keep all their own first-round picks except for that 2027 Sacramento pick. And yes, half of the Rob Dillingham trade is now used to bring in De'Aaron Fox. Funny how things come full circle. Now, Wemby is just getting an embarrassment of riches at the point guard position in his young career. And on the year, With Chris Paul, he's averaging close to 25 points a game, also averaging like 4 blocks a night, and he just does stuff every night that is just ridiculous, such as pulling up from the Chase Center logo here in Madison Square Garden, or snagging that overcat and then going and doing a chin up, right? This man, every single time you watch him play, he does something ridiculous. Little push out into a fadeaway over Josh Hart. Ridiculous. Now he's only shooting 35% from 3, which has kind of prompted some of the old heads and analytics guys. Why is he taking 9 threes a game? You are 7'5", get downhill. But, you know, he continues to take threes. Now, Chris Paul will probably be moved to the bench in the wake of the De'Aaron Fox trade, but shout out to what he did. Through 43 games this year, they were 20-23, compared to being 8-35 through 43 games last year. And what he has done for Wemby and Jeremy Sohan has been phenomenal this year. He's averaging 9.5 points, about 8 assists, 4.3 rebounds, and 1.5 steals in 29 minutes a game, while shooting 42% from the field and 36% from 3 on 5 attempts. And he's going to be a fantastic backup. He was a great backup at Golden State last year, and just being that high IQ guy, and he can still mentor Stephon Castle a little bit, and we'll see what they decide to do with Stephon Castle. 11.7 points a game, 3.8 rebounds, 2.6 assists in 25 minutes. Looks like one of the better rookies in this year's draft class at still 20 years old. He seems like a secondary playmaker at this point in his career, though, I'm not going to lie, because when he and Chris Paul are on the court together, they are plus 1.3 per 100 possessions in 550 minutes. Without Chris Paul on the court, they are minus 3.2 per 100 possessions in 514 minutes with just a 103 offensive rating, compared to when Chris Paul is on the court. They average 119 per 100 possessions and average 106 points per 100. So I show you all this to tell you that Stephon Castle right now, obviously he's a rookie, so this will improve. Right now, he's not a starting elite playmaker on a contending team. He's an elite defender. He's a great connector at the 2 that can go get a bucket from time to time. He's not a good shooter yet, but he's elite defensively, and he's a great slasher and a good secondary playmaker. So off the bench, using that 6'6", 215-pound frame with a 6'9" wingspan to really defend and score from time to time, I think he is going to be great in that role for the Spurs going forward. You see the numbers for Vassell this year, about 16 points per game. He's doing that on 44% shooting from the field, 36% from 3 on 6 attempts. He is, he was injured to start the year, kind of came in, and I'm impressed with what he's been doing so far. He's 6'7" with a 6'10" wingspan, so he can disrupt defensively, and he hadn't been shooting it as well this year. We saw him shoot 39% from 3 just a couple of years ago, but I'll take 36% from 3 for a guy still working back, from that injury. Julian Champagnie, averaging about 10.7 points a game in 25 minutes a game in 45 appearances, has had a very good season and a very surprising season for the Spurs. 42% shooting from the field, 37% from 3 on 5 attempts so far this year. Now, that's not like Steph Curry numbers, but it's a good shooter to have now coming off the bench. He had been starting. He will probably be coming off the bench now. I think they move Harrison Barnes back into that lineup, who's averaging about 12 points per game and 4.8 rebounds this year in 28 minutes a night. He's having a phenomenal year as well. Both of the vets, and Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes that they brought in, have been perfect for this team. Shoots 50% from the field, 42% from 3. And not only did the Spurs get to keep Stephon Castle in this trade, they also got to keep Keldon Johnson, who is a nice young player in San Antonio, and they get to keep Jeremy Sohan, who is another nice young player, as well as, like we said, Vassell. So this was just a masterpiece of a trade. They absolutely stole this thing. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button. Leave me a comment down below and that subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. We're looking for 300 likes on today's video. And with that being said, thanks so much for watching.